Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho, back with another video. Today I want to talk about an amazing sounding, really high resolving tube amplifier. This is the Woo Audio WA7 third generation. Now this is a kind of DAC amp that has tubes installed in it for about $1,400. And I think the thing that makes this really special is how highly resolving it is while maintaining the tube flavor. The specs and the things they pack into this little device is actually really impressive. So this has an ES Saber DAC. They didn't really specify which one. However, it is a fully balanced DAC amp that also has a linear power supply and is a Class A amplifier. So breaking that down essentially is, as a Class A amplifier, you can definitely expect this to have a lot of punch and slam. So when it comes to the bass, you can definitely hear how hard this thing hits, which is really nice to see. Because it's balanced, you're going to get that better kind of noise rejection and better separation between the left and right channels. And then the linear power supplies are just going to minimize the noise. So really, this is a nicely designed amp, and it's definitely can see where the money went into this amplifier. Now, besides all the specs, I mean, just look at it. It looks amazing. I think it's really nice looking on your desk. It also is a smaller form factor, so it's not going to take up too much space as well. So I think this will really just look nice on someone's desk, and they can just have good sound, especially a tube sound on their desk. So I think those are kind of the reasons why someone would be looking for something like this. It's definitely this like elegant type of look that really makes it stand out amongst other kind of more commonly seen DAC amps on the market. So that's something to definitely consider. So of course I want to thank Woo Audio for sending this out for me to review. And yeah, so let's kind of talk about this in more detail and kind of walk through the sound and kind of the input selections this has. All right, so let's take a closer look at the WA7 Fireflies. So we have the volume dial over here. This thing connects through USB, so that's how I listen to my audio. It connects to your cell phone, your computer very easily. We have the 4.4 Pentagon connection down here. And then on the right, we have the 1/4 inch connection right there. So it's pretty easy to connect your headphones. So here we have the connection. So we have the USB and the RCA. You can choose your inputs over here. We have the power button over here. Then we have the power connector right there. And then we have the pre-out. So if you want to use this with an external amplifier, you can. So you can choose between on and off, and then you can also choose between a 3.5 or a 4.4 balance connection out. All right, so let's also talk about power. So this puts out 1.5 watts through the balance connection, and that's honestly plenty of power. So I have the Abyss DynamR, which I did most of my testing with. Sounds absolutely amazing on this headphone. It even has enough power to power something like the HE6 SCV2. This is basically considered the power plant. It has all the power memes on the internet. So if you want a hard drive headphone, the HE6 is definitely that. And then we have something like the Sennheiser HD58X. So I tested with dynamic headphones as well to kind of get a feeling of what it sounds like on, planars and dynamics. And yeah. So when it comes to sound of the WA7, honestly, it is kind of crazy how resolving this is. I was actually comparing this to another DAC amp to kind of get a feeling of its sound. And really what I noticed was that I actually wasn't even listening for it, but on a kind of a cascade song, there was a layering between two voices. And what the WA7 Fireflies was able to kind of show me was how well I can hear those two voices layered on top of each other. And the other DAC amp was the iFi DAC that I was testing. And I really couldn't hear both of those voices layered on top of it. And it kind of made me realize that the filter I was using on that wasn't necessarily the optimal filter for that scenario. And then I changed the filter on the iFi, and then it kind of was able to hear the two voices layered a lot better on a different filter. And the whole point of this story is that I wasn't really listening for that. Really, I was just kind of comparing it side by side to get a feeling of the sound of a solid state next to this tube. However, I was able to figure out that like this is so resolving that I could tell like there was differences in filters and how the filters really affect the sound of the other solid state. And that wasn't something I was looking for, right? And so that's what I say when like this is a highly resolving tube amp, because I've tried some cheaper tube amps in the past, like some like $200 ones, and they're really, really rolled off. This has none of those characteristics. Like it is really spacious. Like I would say the DAC of this is actually one of like the DAC and the amp honestly together form a pretty nice sphere around your head. I feel like it's just as deep as it is wide, which is kind of cool. And then the other thing I noticed about this as well is that you can really hear all the small elements. Like the kind of tube flavor is there, and it adds kind of warmth, especially to like the highs and the treble. The treble and stuff don't sound as kind of bright in general. They sound a little bit more warmer, more relaxed sounding, and it's a little bit easier to listen to over a long period of time. However, it doesn't really change the detail. You can still hear all of that detail, which is really, really cool. Now, the other thing I noticed is that because the kind of highs are a little bit more warm, then it kind of makes you focus a little bit more on the mid-range, and there's some of the the harmonics in the mid-range that really make it sound just more mid-range focused in general. It makes a lot of like the guitars, the voices, male, female, just sound really wonderful and kind of full sounding, and it gives the kind of music a lot more life to it. It's something I noticed about tubes. So let's talk about the bass. So the bass of this definitely hits hard. It has that kind of tube type of bass to it, which has a little bit of a like softer, rounder type of sound to it, and it definitely carries through. And I feel like holistically, when you kind of add all those elements together, this makes it just a really enjoyable, pleasant listening experience. The way I kind of think about tube amplifiers versus like solid states is like essentially like when you take a picture with your camera, people always like to edit it before they load it or upload it to like Instagram or wherever you're kind of uploading your photos, because not everyone wants to just see their photo as is. They want to spice it up with a little bit of flavor, a little bit of filters. I feel like tubes are just the same thing like that. Like not everyone wants to kind of listen to music as is. They want to add a little bit of flavor to their music. And I feel like the WA7 does that really, really well while maintaining all the good qualities and resolutions of your music. And I think that's what kind of makes it stand out, at least for me. But yeah, in conclusion, if you're looking for a nice tube amplifier to pair with your headphones, the WA7 Fireflies definitely is that. Honestly, if I put it with the Diana MR, I think the Woo Audio and the Vis people really like their stuff paired together, and it sounds really, really good. I think it's definitely a good pairing. When I put it against the dynamic headphones, it also sounds wonderful through them. I would say it has enough power to even power my HE6. Now, some people would say, yeah, a bigger amplifier would probably have, harder hitting bass and stuff like that. But honestly, I thought it powered my HE6 fine. So really, the WA7 is quite an amazing device. I think if you're looking for a high-end tube amp, this is kind of a good place to start. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out, and you guys should definitely check out on my other kind of content. I reviewed the Dyna MR if you guys are interested in that. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.